Hi friends! Welcome back to my channel, Mystic Magic. In today's pick a card reading, we are going to be finding out how you can get back on track or how you can stay on track. So my intention with this video is to leave it really open-ended, so this can really be about anything. If there's a certain fitness goal or a career goal or something that you've been working towards and maybe you feel like you've kind of fell off of it for a while, or maybe you feel like you haven't fallen off track with something, but maybe you just want some advice or information on how you can keep up the good work, then this video is for you. This is a timeless reading, but at the time that I'm uploading it, it is the super moon in Capricorn. So this is also happening about halfway through the year, and so I feel like it's a really good time to do some self-reflection and check in with ourselves and see where we're at when it comes to achieving our goals. A lot of us love to set goals at the beginning of the year, and we usually start off feeling so motivated and so excited about it. And then after some time, that excitement kind of wears off and it becomes a little bit harder to stay consistent with working on certain goals or things that we're trying to achieve. So I really wanted this video to help you guys out if you feel like you need a little extra boost. I'm hoping that this is what I can do for you today. So what we're going to be taking a look at with the Oracle cards is identifying what energy you need to embody in order to get back on track or to stay on track. And then with the tarot, we're going to be taking a look at practical steps and advice, practical things that you can do to get you back on track or stay on track. And then we'll be closing the reading off by taking a look at some self-care advice for you during this journey of yours. So without further ado, let's take a look at what piles we have for you today. So on group number 1, we have the red Jasper. This is my little kidney bean. Okay, on group 2, we have the tiger's eye. And on group number 3, we have the citrine pyramid. So feel free to pause the video if you need some more time figuring out which pile you're the most drawn towards. And then once you've chosen, you can scroll down to the description box or the pinned comment and skip ahead to your reading. Keep in mind this is general reading, so take the messages that resonate and leave the rest behind. Don't try to force all the messages to fit for you and your life. There could simply just be messages here that are meant for other people watching that just aren't meant for you. And remember that tarot is a tool that reads the current energy, and energy is always changing, so remember that you have free will and the power to create change. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hey there, group 1. So you chose the red Jasper. This is going to be a reading. Today we're going to be finding out how you can get back on track or stay on track towards whatever goal that you have in mind right now. So this could be about a relationship, a career, a personal goal, anything that you feel like you've been working towards. So when I was tuning into your energy, I was seeing a tornado, and I was seeing actually from this deck here, the Sacred Destiny Oracle deck, I was seeing the card Healing Chaos, which has this tornado on it and a bunch of butterflies around it. And then I was getting references to the Wizard of Oz, and I was hearing we're not in Kansas anymore. And the way that it was making me feel with this tornado just kind of, going through a big field, it was giving me this feeling of starting over or starting with a clean slate, because I was also hearing overhaul. So I'm very interested to see what your cards are and how this energy kind of ties into your reading. So let's go ahead and check out what your oracle cards are. So first we have the archetype of the storyteller, and their light attributes are the ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. And the shadow attribute says making up tales that harm others. We have connection, number 14. The frequency of connection supports our ability to find alignment and resonance with others, things, and ideas. We have leadership. And we also have the spider with the earth element. Ooh, okay. Pile number 1, what I'm getting with the energy coming through with these oracle cards, I understand what the tornado symbology is all about. I'm feeling like the overhaul that I was picking up on has to do with shifting your energy from being in a mental state to being in a physical state of taking action. Because we have the storyteller here, and it talks about being able to experience and express life through stories and symbols. And then we have this shadow attribute of making up tales. So it's kind of giving me this energy of, I feel like you're the kind of person who has a lot of amazing ideas. I feel like you're so creative. You could be an air sign, sun, moon, or rising. So that would be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. You don't have to though, but I'm picking up this really strong air sign energy where you have really, really great ideas, but maybe you struggle with the execution of them. When I was preparing for this reading and I was trying to figure out what crystals I wanted to use, I was feeling so strongly that I needed to use a red crystal, and I kept like going back to the red Jasper, but I kept hesitating over it and like second guessing myself if that was the right crystal that I should be using. And I knew that I needed something red, like the root chakra was coming through really, really strongly. And I find that really interesting because the root chakra is all about our foundation, our physical form. And so it kind of brings me back to what I was just saying, where I feel like you need to shift your focus from thinking about things or brainstorming or coming up with ideas into something more tangible, taking concrete action on these ideas. I think with this group as well, because we do have this connection card and the spider here, and this is really showing me that you also may struggle with seeing how different things can connect together. So maybe you have some different ideas, but you don't know how to piece everything together. Maybe you're unsure of what steps to actually take so that you can build this web that would support you. So let me give you an example. Okay, going with the storyteller here. Let's say you want to write a book. Let's say you have this amazing idea for a novel, but you've never written a book before, you've never written a novel or a story, and you're like, I just don't even know how I would do that. And what I'm getting here is that Spirit really wants you to reflect on your different skills and talents, reflect on different experiences you have, and to get creative with how you can use these things and mesh them together with your idea to start creating these different notches in your web. So maybe you've never written a novel before, but maybe you used to do theater. So you know all about dramatics and all about suspense and thrill and things like that. Use that knowledge that you have, but use it in a new way that would help you in this situation that you're in. I hope that's making sense. There's a lot about meshing your creativity with tangibility. So being able to balance your feminine energy and your masculine energy by taking the creative ideas of the divine feminine and then bringing in the divine masculine in order to create momentum and to start taking action on these creative ideas that the divine feminine has. Of course, we also have leadership here. So The energy that you would really need to embody in order to get back on track or stay on track is definitely a shift into your masculine energy. I think you've been in a bit of a cocoon for some time in your feminine energy, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure that it's served you well and that you needed to be there for a period of time. But now, if you want to get back on track or stay on track with a certain goal that you have, you're really going to need to switch into your masculine energy. You're going to need to take the lead. And I'm really getting strong Aries energy coming through, not just because it's the first sign of the zodiac, but also because it is a cardinal sign. So other cardinal signs of the zodiac would be Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And cardinal energies are energies that are the initiates. They're the ones who take the first step. They're the ones who lead. This is really the energy that I'm seeing coming through that you would need to embody. Something else that I'm seeing is that we have a lot of blues and greens over here that I'm noticing. And so I feel like your throat chakra is going to play a big role in this as well. So maybe you have a lot of ideas, or maybe you have a certain idea, but you keep it to yourself. Something else that I'm seeing is the need to start expressing yourself, to start sharing. And again, this is masculine energy of putting things out there, putting your ideas out there, putting your art out there, putting your creations out there. Maybe you've been feeling a little bit stuck. Maybe you've been feeling like there's a lot going on internally. You have a lot of ideas, you have a lot of thoughts and creative things just bubbling up in your head. And sorry, I got so distracted. There's this little spider that's been living in my room for a few weeks. We're cool, we're friends, we hang out. But I just noticed that it's crawling on the bed right now, and we do have this spider card. I actually feel called to read the spider card out of the book for you, so let me get that. The spider is such a powerful symbol. It talks about creating our own destiny. It talks about divine feminine energy as well. So it says, creator of prosperity through life's work, Dharma. The spider is an ingenious creator. Its greatest gift is weaving the thread of Dharma into a vast, intricate web that supports the spider and those around it, both financially and spiritually. It is hard work, but the spider neither tires nor becomes impatient. This card reminds us creativity is everywhere. Be process-oriented rather than results-oriented, and soon your work becomes like the weaving of a magical, priceless tapestry. Abundance follows. When in balance, you would feel appreciative, enthusiastic, and prosperous. And in order to bring it into balance, you would need playful creativity. So exactly, this is about not getting discouraged by the process if you haven't seen the results that you've yet wanted. Think about how long a spider spends weaving its web just for some human to take a feather duster and clear it all away in 2 seconds. Do you think the spider gives up and is like, well, okay, my home is destroyed and that's gonna be the end of me? No, the spider is like, okay, time to weave a new web. And it spends all that time creating a new home for itself. It spends so much time being patient, waiting for flies to fly into its net. So there's definitely a strong element here of being patient with yourself and the process, because we all go through these ebbs and flows on our journey where we're feeling really empowered and we're taking action and we're seeing progress. And then we have those moments where we feel like the tank's empty and we have no more ideas and we're tired and we're uninspired and we don't know how to get to the next stage. So if that's kind of how you're feeling, I feel like Spirit's really wanting to come through to give you this like extra little push, an extra little boost, just to remind you that like the journey's not over just because you're struggling or you hit a roadblock or something. It doesn't mean that that's the end. Oh, that makes so much sense, because I was also hearing Try Again by Aaliyah. If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again, okay? So keep picking yourself back up. Keep being the initiator when it comes to whatever goal that you're working on here. For example, if this is about a fitness goal, if you're trying to lose 10 pounds, or if you're trying to gain, 5 pounds of muscle or something, I don't know. If you're trying to run a mile, keep at it. Don't give up. Even on days where you feel like you're moving backwards instead of progressing, don't let that trip you up. It's better to show up and do the best that you can rather than, that energy feeling defeated where it makes you not want to try at all. I'm also getting consistency over intensity. So again, going back to this exercising example, like instead of going to the gym once a week for 6 hours, it would probably be a lot easier and more sustainable to maybe go to the gym 4 times a week, but for an hour or for 45 minutes. So there's something here about breaking things up into smaller bite-sized pieces so that it's more manageable for you. Like the spider's web doesn't just come out as one big web. Line by line, the spider forms this web, and you're also being encouraged to break things down into smaller steps so that it's easier for you to accomplish. Okay, so I want to get the tarot now and see what practical steps, practical advice that you could do in order to get back on track or stay on track. Okay, so we have the Page of Cups in reverse. I'm actually holding the whole deck upside down by accident, but I do feel like this is meant to be reversed. Okay, Spirit, what practical steps, what practical advice is there for group 1 when it comes to getting back on track or staying on track with a certain goal? Interesting. We have the Two of Swords and the High Priestess. What practical steps, what practical advice is there for group number 1 when it comes to getting back on track or staying on track? Okay. We have the Moon coming out. And on the back of the deck, we have the Nine of Pentacles. Something that I'm getting really strongly, this is so interesting because I was talking about how I was feeling strong masculine energy is as what you would need to embody, and it's so interesting how much feminine energy has come through here. And I feel like with the Moon, the High Priestess, the Page of Cups in reverse, there's this message of not letting your emotions or not letting your fears dictate what happens next. Not to let your fears or your emotions make you forget how talented you are, how worthy you are, how capable you are of accomplishing this. I do feel like there's a bit of a block here with this Two of Swords, and I feel like you've been feeling that as well, because there's this energy of I want to move forward, but it's like something's holding me back. And I feel like especially with this Page of Cups in reverse, there's some kind of emotional or emotion-based energy that's causing you to feel a little bit stuck. So one practical thing that I'm seeing that you can do that'll help you get back on track or stay on track is to actually tune into your emotions. Okay, because I do feel like maybe you've been in a feminine energy in the sense of non-action and being a bit more passive. But at the same time, I do feel like maybe you haven't been tuning into your emotions. Maybe you've been kind of avoiding them or avoiding dealing with something, a certain fear, something subconscious perhaps. And actually tuning into this energy and kind of getting to the bottom of that would help you be able to move forward. This could be something from childhood, maybe feeling like it's not safe for you to fully express who you are, or it's not safe for you to pursue your ideas for one reason or another. You know, maybe this is a fear of rejection, or a fear of you know, being ridiculed or being unsupported or ostracized for your ideas or for something that you want to do. And I see that actually going within and doing that healing work would really help you to feel more empowered and make you feel like you're more in control of your life. Another practical step that I'm seeing for you is to do research. The book on the High Priestess is really standing out to me, and she does represent a wealth of knowledge, an abundance of knowledge and wisdom. So again, this could be tuning into your own wisdom. I feel like you have a lot of knowledge and information accumulated and experience that maybe you're not seeing how those things could actually benefit you. But I'm also seeing that there's opportunities for you to learn from other people, whether this is other people in the industry or a certain mentor, a certain figurehead, a certain philosopher or researcher or something. I feel like there's more for you to learn, or some information that's out there that would help you move further along this path. And when I say learning from other people, this isn't about comparing yourself in a way that makes you feel bad. It's about looking to others as a guide or as an inspiration. So maybe you know someone, whether it's personally or just through social media, or maybe they're famous or something, and maybe this person is doing what you want to do. So the advice is to look at them as an example of how you could go about doing it. I feel like there's a key person or people that you could really learn something from. There's also a strong emphasis here on being really independent with this Nine of Pentacles and this leadership card as well. For some of you, it could be that there are certain people who you spend a lot of time with, who could be kind of getting in the way here. And I'm not saying that these people are doing it intentionally. They very well could be. But it could be that maybe you're such a dreamer. I'm getting like really strong Aquarius energy and really strong Pisces energy with this group. I feel like you're visionaries and you have these really grand ideas, and I feel like the people around you aren't the same way. I think maybe these people are a bit more conservative, or they just don't have as big of a vision as you. They're just not as creative as you. And they may kind of talk you out of doing certain things or make you feel afraid of going forward. Maybe other people are making you feel like, what you want to do is unrealistic, or that it wouldn't be successful, or you wouldn't be good at it, or how would you even do that, or that doesn't even make sense. Don't let other people's words and stories impact what you know to be true deep down within yourself. What you have and who you are is so valuable. So don't ever doubt that, is a really big message coming through. And another practical thing is to start being aware of not only what other people are saying to you or how other people make you feel when it comes to this goal, but also how you make yourself feel about it. What stories are you telling yourself that are actually holding you back? So if you have this idea and it makes you feel really excited and you're like all into it, and then all of a sudden you have these thoughts come in where it's like, oh, but I don't know, like maybe that's stupid, or maybe I don't even know if that would work, and you kind of talk yourself out of it. That's something really, really big to start focusing your awareness on. Is like, your words are so powerful And you remember before when I was talking about the throat and the heart chakra was coming through really strongly? It's because your words really matter. Your words are so powerful. And your words have the ability to build you up and build others up, or tear you down or tear others down. And so it's time to start thinking about, how do I want to use my voice? Do I want to use my voice and my narrative and my story to inspire myself to keep going? Or am I just going to let these untrue stories that I tell myself pull me into this pit of fear and non-action where I give up on my dreams? So it's interesting because I feel like with this group, there's like a strong mix between reflecting and taking note, being more aware of your mental state during this process, as well as how other people are affecting you, but also a balance of masculine energy where you're starting to take physical, tangible actions, things that are more bite-sized, things that are more manageable and realistic for you. If you've never heard of SMART goals, Google it, because that's a really great way of setting goals that are attainable. So take a look at that if you've never heard of it or if you don't know what it is. And another piece of advice that I'm getting here is to trust yourself more, trust your ideas more, trust your intuition more, and to also to trust your path as well. I feel like right now you guys are in a void phase of your life, so you may feel really confused. You may feel like you don't know what's going to happen next, and I really resonate with this. Like, I really feel for you, and I know how hard that is. But at the same time, there's this message of being able to kind of flip your perspective and to remember that while the void can be really, dark and confusing and maybe a bit scary because we don't know what's happening, the void is where creation takes place. So you're in a very, very fertile, creative, abundant time of your life, even if it doesn't feel like that or even if it doesn't look like that. And Spirit's saying that you're actually in a really advantageous place in your life, because from this void, you can create anything it is that you want. But it's up to you to take that lead, to take those steps, and to take physical, tangible action towards those goals. And that is how you, step by step, walk out of the void and back into the light, where you can see how all of the steps, all of these actions, all of these things that you've been doing over time, you will see how that starts to build the bigger picture. Okay. We're going to close your reading off by taking a look at some self-care advice that would help you out on this journey of getting back on track or staying on track. So let me just move this to the side, actually. Okay, so we have spend time with animals. We have read, yeah, exactly, that book. Okay, and we also have meditate. Yeah. There's something about Spirit is really encouraging you to tune back into yourself, to reconnect with yourself, to reconnect with your guides, and to reconnect with the divine as well. I feel like you will gain a lot of clarity in meditation because of the fact that you're disconnecting from the external environment. You're disconnecting from other people's energies, other people's stories, and you're disconnecting from your own mental processes, and you are surrendering, flowing, and allowing the divine to give you answers and clarity that you've been seeking. I feel like it's also going to really help with dealing or healing whatever this emotional issue was that we saw earlier with the tarot. And on that note, speaking about the emotions, spending time with animals is also really, really healing. So if you have a pet, or you know somebody who has a pet, or you can go to the zoo, or you can spend time in nature or watch a nature documentary, spending time with animals, being in the vibration of certain animals is really going to help heal you. Pay attention to any animal signs or synchronicities that you see that are popping up. I would say for sure the spider, because we also do have a little one on this card. I don't know if you could see it. It's on her shirt there. But definitely look into the symbology of spiders and do more research if that resonates, because I think it's been very significant in this group. And again, with read, there's a certain book, a certain person, a video, a course, there's some kind of information that would help you out. Meditate on this and ask your guides to help reveal to you what information this is about, what resource it is that would help you to move forward. And again, we have storyteller here, so I don't know if like you're actually trying to write a book or something like that. So you can take that as confirmation if it resonates. But maybe you also bought a book recently, or there's a book that you haven't read, or that maybe you've been wanting to read again. Spirit is saying that feeling is there for a reason. So trust your intuition and go read that book, or watch that video, or do that course, whatever it is. So group 1, this is everything that I'm seeing for you. I really do hope that this reading helped you and brought you clarity on your path and how to get back on track. Let me know down in the comments what you thought and how this resonated. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Hey there, Pyle 2. You chose the Tiger's Eye. This is going to be a reading. Today we're taking a look at how you can get back on track or stay on track with whatever goal it is that you have in mind. So when I was tuning into your energy, I was being shown fire, and I was hearing the alchemical process of transformation, and it felt very powerful. There's a lot of really strong solar plexus energy coming through, especially with the Tiger's Eye crystal as well. And fire is the element that rules the solar plexus. So I'm quite interested to see what your cards have to say and how that energy ties into the reading. So first, we're going to take a look at what energy you would need to embody in order to get back on track or stay on track with whatever goal it is that you have in mind, whether it's about a relationship, a career goal, or a personal goal. So let's see what you have. We have Damsel, and the light attributes say, understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. And the shadow attributes say, waiting for a knight to provide for you, seduction by romantic illusion. We also have the first chakra with the number 1. The energy of the root chakra supports our sense of safety in a physical world and reminds us to enjoy our physical bodies. We have enlightenment. And we also have the vulture with the air element. Okay, group 2, what I'm seeing here is this really interesting vision of okay, so I'm seeing a person with all of their chakras, and from the root to the crown, it's like there's this energy that's moving up through all of the chakras, out of the crown, and then circling back down into the root. And it's kind of doing this purification process. which is kind of what I was feeling when I was tuning into your energy and I was seeing the fire element coming through and hearing the alchemical process of transformation, which is so interesting that we also have the vulture here, because the vulture is symbolic of removing that which no longer serves us. So I feel like in order for you to get back on track or to stay on track with your goal, it's really going to require you to take a fair assessment and an honest assessment of your current life and what you're doing, and to really identify what's not working anymore. Because sometimes we do things and it helps us for a certain amount of time, and we're not meant to just do that thing forever. It's only meant to serve us for a period of time, and then we're meant to gracefully let that go and move forward onto the next thing. And so I feel like maybe things have been hanging in the balance for you because there's a hesitation of maybe not wanting to clear things away, which is understandable. I really get that. It can be so hard to let go of things. It can be so scary, especially when we're really used to it and it becomes our comfort zone. But what I'm seeing is that there's a need to reestablish your foundation and need to remember why you started in the first place. Like, what is your raison d'etre is basically what I'm getting. Like, why is it that you're doing what you're doing? And to be honest about it, and to not judge yourself for whatever answers come up. I'm also seeing this energy with the damsel here. It says, understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. And then it says, waiting for a knight to provide for you. So I feel like in order to get on track or stay on track, you need to get to this space where you're doing things for yourself and you're not doing them exclusively for somebody else, to people please, to make somebody else happy, or whatever the case. You need to be doing it for you. And I think this is where this awareness comes in, and taking this honest assessment of like, why am I doing this? What is my reason for doing this? What is the foundation upon which I am trying to build this goal or achieve this goal? This enlightenment card is directly linked to the crown chakra because this is where we experience enlightenment. And it's really interesting that we have both the first and the seventh chakra here. These are opposites in ways because the first chakra is all about the physical material world, and the crown chakra is the complete opposite. This is our connection with source, with the divine, with the part of us that is energetic and infinite and timeless. And I keep seeing that same visual of someone with all of their chakras and this energy of moving up, up, up. So it's like, I feel that spirit is saying it's important for you to start with your root chakra, your first chakra, to identify and figure out what this foundation is, why you're doing something, how you can make this the strongest foundation that you can, being able to rely on yourself, okay? Because what is the foundation? A foundation is something that supports us. When you think about building a home, you can't just build a house, directly on sand or directly on the dirt. We need to lay a solid foundation for that house so it doesn't just sink and crumble into the ground. So the foundation is everything. And from there, I see you working up through each I see you working up through each chakra, then moving into your sacral chakra. Now that you have a strong foundation, it's going to support you to create what it is that you want to create. It's going to allow you to experience pleasure and fun because you feel safe and supported from your root chakra. And then you'll move into your solar plexus where you start to feel confidence in yourself and empowerment on creating and accepting the identity of who you are. This is where we take action from. This is where our willpower comes from. From there, we move into the heart chakra, and this is our center. It's our anchor. This is the transition point from the physical realm into the energetic realm. And from our heart space is where we discover what is most important to us. This is our source of unconditional love and forgiveness and acceptance of the self. And we move into the throat chakra where we outwardly express what it is that resides in our heart and in our being. We communicate, we express our creativity, we express our ideas. And from there, we move into the clarity of the third eye where we're seeing things as they are. We're seeing things through discernment, through awareness and perception, and broadening our perspective, because we know that what we see isn't all there is, and most of what there is are things that we cannot see. They're only things that we can be felt energetically. And from there, we move into the crown chakra where we experience our connection with the divine, where we tap into oneness and we feel the infinite abundance of the universe within us, because we know that we are an expression of the universe and therefore part of the universe, and the universe is part of us as well. And so what I'm seeing here is that I feel that there are specifically things within your root chakra that need cleansing, healing, purging, and releasing. But it'll also be important for you to unblock your crown chakra as well. I feel that with this group, it's like there are things within your first chakra that need to be released. But in order for that energy to be released, it moves up through the chakras and it releases through the crown. But if your crown chakra is blocked, that energy has nowhere to go. Okay, so this is what I'm picking up with your oracle cards. I hope this is making sense to you, and I hope that this is resonating for you so far. I want to grab the tarot and see what other information we get. But actually, one more one more message, because I keep coming back to this message here where it says inspires you to rely on yourself, and then waiting for a knight to provide for you. And with this tiger's eye, like I said, how it's connected to the solar plexus, which is all about empowerment, drive, confidence, courage. I feel that in order for you to get back on track or stay on track with a certain goal, that you'll really need to work with both the root and the solar plexus, because this is what helps us overcome our fears in the material world. And I'm getting this, I'm hearing songs like Independent Woman by Destiny's Child, and it's like I want to say, like, you don't need another person to give you what you feel like you need. Like, you can give it to yourself. You don't need somebody else to pay for you. You don't need someone else to validate you. You don't need someone else to agree with you. You can validate yourself. You can make your own money and pay for yourself. You can support yourself. You can encourage yourself. It's like whatever you are looking at the other to provide for you, you can provide that for yourself. And this is going to bring you a very, very big sense of empowerment. And it's really going to change your whole life, because you're going to realize that you have more control than you think you do. It's about switching out of this mentality of feeling like a victim of your circumstances, and instead being like, well, what can I do to change that? Maybe I can't immediately change my circumstances, but I can change how I react to them. Instead of doing what I've been doing this whole time, maybe I'm going to go ahead and start that project anyways, even if nobody else thinks it's a good idea. You don't need other people's approval to live your life, is a strong, strong message that's coming through. So let's get the tarot out now and see what practical steps or what practical advice Spirit has for you in order to stay on track or to get back on track. Okay. So we have the King of Pentacles. Yeah. Okay. What practical advice or practical steps can group 2 take in order to get back on track or stay on track with their goal, please, Spirit? Okay, we also have the 3 of Wands. We have the 4 of Wands, the King of Swords, and on the back of the deck, we have Judgment. Okay. And I split the deck and we have the Ace of Wands. This song came through in group 1, but I'm hearing Try Again by Aaliyah. If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. So that song could be relevant. Okay, the King of Pentacles, 3 of Wands, 4 of Wands, King of Swords, and Judgment. It's interesting how much we were talking about foundations and this first chakra, and then we have the King of Pentacles coming out first, because the King of Pentacles is about as solid of an energy as you can get. The King of Pentacles is someone who has mastered their physical world, who is so abundant, who has worked really hard to get to the point of being the King of Pentacles. Like, he's had to go through a lot to get there, but it's made him all the wiser and all the stronger for it. And now he has all this wisdom under his belt and this empire that he has built himself. And I just keep getting this energy of like, you don't need other people in order to execute or do whatever it is that you are wanting to do. Of course, having support from others and having validation from others is so helpful. We're social creatures, and by nature, we need community to thrive and to feel good and to feel safe. But at the same time, it's important to balance that out with individuality as well, and also being self-reliable, being able to depend on yourself to do the things that you need to do to either take care of yourself or to pursue a dream that's on your heart. Nobody else can do that for you. Only you can do that yourself. So if you're waiting around for your dream to fall into your lap or for someone to save you, Spirit is saying that's all on you. And not in a way where it's like you don't have support, but you must be willing to take action. You must be willing to put in effort and to make the changes that need to be made if you want to see truly the results that you want to see. Of course, like I said, love and support from others is important, and we all need that. But what else that we need is to be able to love and support ourselves. Everything that you're seeking can be found within, and that is the main source of that which you seek. The joy that you're looking for in all of these things actually comes from within. The power that you're looking for in all of these things comes from within. The answers that you're seeking outside of you are going to come from within, especially with enlightenment and the King of Swords here, and Judgment. Okay, there's a lot of communication, information, messages that the universe and your guides have been trying to give you and that are still giving you, but maybe you haven't been seeing it because you don't believe that the solution is something that comes from inside of you. Maybe you're waiting for a certain situation to work itself out. And Spirit is saying that things are not going to just magically happen. Yes, magic exists, and yes, miracles do happen. But at the same time, nothing changes until you change. Nothing changes until something in your inner world clicks and causes you to think in a new way, react in a new way, behave in a new way, or take a new action. So there's really a strong need for you to step outside of your comfort zone and to do something different. The King of Pentacles and the King of Swords are such strong energies. All of the kings are very, very strong energies, but with this King of Swords, there's this need to be a little bit cutthroat is what I'm feeling. I feel that you're very gentle and soft, and there's this like sensitive side to you. I don't know if you have like a prominent Cancer placement or something, but there's this, I feel that with this group, maybe you have a hard time setting boundaries or saying no, or being bold in your words or actions because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or, you know, make somebody feel some type of way. But the truth is that by doing that, you're only disempowering yourself. And oh my God, I literally, okay, I get it. From the very beginning, you know, I was seeing the fire and hearing the alchemical process of transformation, and then we have this vulture here, and with judgment, I mean, judgment is literally the energy of the phoenix rising from the ashes. Yes, the fire burns away what is no longer serving us, and that could be painful. It can be difficult and uncomfortable to let go and to step outside of our comfort zone in that way, but what is created out of that, the newness that is created out of that, is built on a completely different foundation, something much more strong and stable, like the Four of Wands here. Very, very strong, stable foundation, very strong, stable energy, especially with this King of Pentacles too. And I also do feel like there is getting in control of the mind is really what's going to help you a lot on this journey. A similar message came up in the last group, but it was kind of coming, I mean, the situation was different, but I guess the message is kind of similar, where it's like, start paying attention to how you speak to yourself. Because I think the way that you think, or the way that you speak to yourself, or the way that you treat yourself, it really disempowers you, because you put all of your power and energy into things that are outside of you that you don't have control over. For example, your circumstances, saying, well, this is just how it is. You know, I can't help that I have to work with these people, or I can't help that this is my job, or I can't help this, or, you know, and there is compassion for you, and there's compassion for your circumstances, and there's compassion for how hard it is. Yes, of course, it is difficult. No one is taking that away from you. But it's time to ask yourself, how am I contributing to my own disempowerment by giving my power, my energy away into things that I don't have control over? So this is all about you taking back your own power, you taking back your own control, and deciding to do things differently this time. There's time for a new perspective, a fresh perspective. And I see that as you work on your first chakra and you move up, like we were talking about before, you'll get to this point where your perspective is totally changed, where your perspective on yourself and your situation is shifting. It's becoming broader and larger, and you're seeing how you can, it's like having a bird's eye perspective on your life and being able to look at yourself now and look at your life and being like, right, okay, you know, let's say I don't like my current circumstances, but what am I doing in my day-to-day that's contributing to that? Like, where am I losing a lot of time and energy? Like, okay, I spend a lot of time worrying about these things, and then that stresses me out. So then I, as a coping mechanism, you know, watch YouTube for a few hours, and then I will play some video games, and then I'll do this and I'll do that. I'm just getting this energy of you could be managing your time better with the King of Swords and the King of Pentacles here. It's like this is very, very, very practical energy coming through. So I think what would help you a lot is to look at your situation really objectively and being like, where am I losing time? Where am I losing energy? Where am I losing money in ways that are not serving me? And how can I change those actions or change those behaviors into something that benefits me? So if, I don't know, let's say you're spending a lot of time playing video games, and then you're realizing that that doesn't leave you a lot of time to work on this goal. Well, how can you change that? Maybe instead of playing video games first, you set some time aside to work on your goal, and then as a reward, you can play video games after. Okay, so it's about looking at your situation in a new light, and also looking at it very objectively and being very, very honest with yourself about how you've been getting in your own way. And I'm also hearing we need to get uncomfortable in order to really be comfortable. And so what I mean by that is, like, I'm going to use the example of exercising. So let's say we want to get fit and healthy because it's important to us. And we're like, okay, like I'm going to do this. I'm excited. When you're not used to exercising is really hard. And it's still hard even when you are used to it, to be honest. But especially when you're just starting out, like, yeah, it's uncomfortable. It doesn't really feel good. You're really pushing yourself. And, you know, a lot of it has to do with these mental blocks that we feel. But over time, you'll grow to love that feeling of being uncomfortable and pushing yourself, because then you know how good it makes you feel after. And over time, you'll start to see the results of you exercising. So this is what I mean by being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay, I want to take a look at what self-care advice Spirit has for you when it comes to getting back on track or staying on track with a certain goal. So let's see. We have write a gratitude list. We have movement. And we have positive affirmations. Yeah, all of these make a lot of sense for this group. I want to start with movement because I feel like this is so important, especially when we're feeling stuck, especially when we're feeling like we really need a change. Physically moving will get your energy moving as well. Physically moving will help your energy to flow. So literally, like, if you've been stuck in the same routine, if you've been stuck on autopilot, if every day looks the same to you, or you follow the same routine or structure and you're feeling stuck, because don't get me wrong, routine and structure is very helpful, but it's not helpful if it makes us feel stuck and stagnant. So if you're feeling stuck and stagnant, literally move, go for a walk, do some jumping jacks, put on your favorite song and dance, chase your dog in the backyard. Literally get moving, rearranging the furniture or your decor in your house. Any kind of movement, any kind of action that you take that is different from the norm is going to get everything shifting. And when you consistently do this, you will notice over time how that ripples and how that grows into creating changes in many different ways. With write a gratitude list and positive affirmations, this is kind of what I was talking about when we were talking about your perspective and seeing things in a new way. So maybe you're really focused on what you don't like about your life, or what's going wrong, or what hasn't been happening. And that's fair. We all do that. But the really important thing here is to remember that there's more than what you're seeing. And there's an opportunity for you to shift your focus into a more positive light. We can acknowledge that we're not where we want to be at, or that things aren't where we want them to be at. We can accept that and validate that and know it to be true, but it doesn't have to end there. We can acknowledge that, and then we can say, but I'm going to make changes in order to make that better. And one of the greatest ways that we can do that is through gratitude. Gratitude is such a powerful, high vibrational emotion, because gratitude says thank you. And we say thank you when we receive something. So if we're expressing gratitude for having received something that we feel like we don't yet have, it's actually tricking the universe a little bit into noticing like, oh, Pyle 2 is really expressing and feeling gratitude for whatever, for living their dream life. And if they're expressing gratitude and feeling that gratitude for living their dream life, then it must be true. So let's start to rearrange things to reflect the fact that Pyle 2 is living their dream life. And this is just an example, but there's encouragement to make this a daily ritual where when you wake up in the morning or when you go to bed, write out or list out different things that you're grateful for. And I'm sure that you can find things that you are grateful for, even if your circumstances right now are unfavorable. Even the little things, okay? Because the little things aren't that little. They're just little to us because that's our perspective on it. But to the universe, gratitude is gratitude is gratitude, whether it's for a cup of coffee or whether it's winning the lottery for $50 million. And then we have positive affirmations. And I think that this is also something that would really benefit you, especially a daily practice where you look in the mirror and you say out loud to yourself different positive affirmations. So, I mean, there's literally an infinite number of affirmations that you could use. I guess it all depends on what you personally need. But for example, you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am capable of making my dreams come true. I am capable of changing my life. I am healthy. I am creative. I am abundant. I am safe. Okay, there's so many different affirmations, and it becomes so much more powerful when we actually use our voice to speak these affirmations to ourselves. So pile number 2, this is everything that I'm seeing for you. I really do hope that this helped you. Please let me know down in the comments what you thought and how this resonated. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Hey there, group 3. If you chose the Citrine pyramid, this is your reading. Today we're going to be finding out how you can get back on track or stay on track with whatever goal it is that you have in mind. So this could literally be about anything. It could be about a relationship, a career goal, or a certain personal goal that you have. So when I was tuning into your energy, I kept hearing ocean, and I was literally just seeing, in the middle of the ocean. And then I was also seeing grass, and everything was very still and quiet, and it made me feel, I was taken to how in nature, it's bringing that quote to mind. I think it was by Lao Tzu, and the quote is, "Nothing in nature is rushed, and yet everything is accomplished." That was exactly the kind of energy that I got coming through. So I'm quite interested to see how that ties into your reading. First, we're going to be taking a look at your oracle cards, which are going to tell us what energy you need to embody in order to get back on track or stay on track with your goal. So we have the Fool, with the light attributes being fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. And then the shadow attributes say using humor to wound rather than liberate, denial of your emotional truth. We also have forgiveness, number 20. The energy of forgiveness strengthens our capacity to let go of unwanted feelings and emotions. We have voyage. And we have the cheetah with the fire element. This is so interesting, group 3, because I feel like these cards are really reiterating and speaking to the energy that I was picking up before we looked at your cards. That quote that I mentioned, nothing in nature is rushed and yet everything is accomplished, is immediately taking me to this cheetah card. You know, cheetahs are so fast, they exert so much energy in a short amount of time. And maybe you kind of resonate with that energy of maybe you struggle a little bit with finding balance in your energy. Maybe you have these bursts of energy where you're really creative, really productive, you're getting a lot done, but then you burn out really quickly and then you need to rest for a very long time. This voyage card, it's really sticking out to me. This card doesn't come out often from this deck, actually. And I was saying how I was seeing the ocean. And you can see how this whale is carrying this baby in this safety net. And so I feel like, yeah, you go through these periods where then you require really long rest. Maybe feeling like you can't carry yourself or you can't carry your own weight. And I get the feeling that kind of disempowers you a bit, like feeling that way. But I don't believe that it's fully true, because I think you can carry yourself. It's just about managing your energy better so that you're not throwing in 500% and then feeling burnt out for a really long time. So that's something that you can learn to manage. But what I'm seeing here is that, okay, I just heard spiritual bypassing, but other things that are coming to mind, it's like either toxic positivity or kind of like what this card here says, denial of your emotional truth. So there could be some emotions lying beneath the surface that maybe you've been kind of avoiding because it's very painful. Like we see in this Fool card. On the mask, it's a very happy, joyful face, but behind that mask, he's crying, he's upset. And as we know, the ocean is symbolic of our emotions and our emotional state, our subconscious, what lies beneath the surface. So the energy that I'm picking up that you would need to embody in order to get back on track or stay on track with your goal is to be brave enough to confront your own emotions and to confront your own truth and to find forgiveness within yourself for something that you feel like has really been holding you back. This could be some kind of wound of fear, some kind of unresolved emotional, mental, or energetic thing that has really been tying up your energy. Yeah, it's like, it's almost like with these two whales here, because this little whale is literally tied up. I don't know if you can see on the screen, but it's being carried in a net. It's like tethered to this big whale. So maybe you feel like there's something that, maybe an experience or something that you feel like you're tethered to it, or a person that you're attached to them, you're attached to this thing, and you're not in control of the direction that you're going in. And the way that you free yourself from this energy of feeling attached is to forgive yourself. I think it's also really telling how this forgiveness card has so much white and this like beautiful golden energy, because it's taking me to the crown chakra, and the crown chakra is all about detachment. Detachment from suffering, detachment from worries, detachment from our mental, emotional, and physical states, and being able to tap into the part of us that is divine and eternal, the part of us that is pure, just energy. There could be certain personas or ways of being or things that you do that aren't really in alignment with who you are, and the reason that you may do those things or embody those things is because at one point it made you feel safe. Perhaps it allowed you to fit in with a certain community. But I see that this isn't serving you anymore, and that what really wants to be released is any kind of persona that you feel attached to, or just anything that you feel attached to that isn't truly who you are. And getting to that point will take a lot of courage, and it'll ask of you to really take that action of looking within yourself and deciding for yourself that you no longer choose to be attached to these things because they're not serving you anymore. These things are now just holding you back. This is interesting because something similar came up in the previous group, but it came through in a different way. But what I'm getting with this group is with this citrine, this pyramid, it has a square base, and the symbol of the square relates to our physical form. It relates to the material world. And it comes up into a point because it's a pyramid, as you can see. But it's making me think of transcending the physical form back up to source. Transmuting this energy from the physical back up into source. I think with this group, it would really benefit you to connect more to your spiritual side and a bit less to the physical world at this point in time. Now, that doesn't mean to fully detach from the physical world. Of course, we need that balance, but I think there's been a lot of focus or stress or worry on things that have to do with the physical. So maybe money, or maybe connections, or maybe about, a career or this or the other. And I think that getting in touch with your spirituality, whether that's a certain religion, a religious practice, a spiritual practice, anything in that spectrum, it'll really help you to see the bigger picture and to find detachment from these things that you feel very tethered to. Before we get into the practical steps with the tarot, I'm actually going to use another tarot deck and get more information on this, because I feel like there's more to this group that I'm not picking up with just these cards. So Spirit, can you elaborate what's going on here for group 3? We have the 6 of Pentacles. I'm hearing the song Everybody's Fool by Evanescence, in case that's relevant. But it's like, I almost feel that there could be a certain person in your life or people or a certain thing where you feel like it's your obligation to be attached to them, or your obligation to do what they need and not what you need. It's like, I feel like you've been made to feel that your needs aren't important, that your dreams aren't important, that your purpose is to serve somebody else. And like, it's just not true. There's a really strong need for balance in your life with the Six of Pentacles, and being able to balance your needs and other people's needs as well. What's going on here, Spirit? Okay, we also have the Chariot coming out, and we have the Two of Cups. Yeah. And on the back we have the Hierophant. Yeah, I feel like this is about recommitting to yourself and detaching yourself a bit from certain people or things that you feel really, really tied to. I feel like there's, yeah, a particular relationship or a person where you feel like it's like you have to always drop everything for them, or you always have to do what they need you to do, and it's not about what you need. So it's about finding some distance from that, creating some distance from that, so that you can refocus your energy back onto you and your needs. And this doesn't necessarily have to be about like cutting people off or anything like that, but it's definitely about setting boundaries and recognizing that your needs are just as important and valid as somebody else's, and it's not your job or your sole purpose to fulfill other people's needs, period. Like, it's up to each person individually to identify their needs, express their needs, and have their needs fulfilled. It's not your job or anybody else's to constantly cater to other people. Yes, we help people out, but it's not our only job or our only role that we're here to take. So this is about recommitting to yourself and having the courage to really move forward and to move in the direction towards things that fulfill you and towards things that that you need or that you desire to have in your life. Okay. So with that being said, now I want to find out what the practical steps. What are the practical steps? What is the practical advice? We have the Six of Cups. Practical steps and advice for group 3 in getting back on track with their goals. Okay, hold on. Okay. All right. We also have the Three of Swords. We have the Two of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. Interesting. 3, 2, 1. Okay. And on the back of the deck, we have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, exactly. It's not sustainable, especially with this cheetah energy too. It's like, it's really burning you out because you're putting so much energy towards other people that when it comes down to moments where you have time to focus on your needs or focus on this goal, it's like you just don't even have the energy to do it. And I feel like that's just, it depletes you even more because you're not using your energy in ways that fulfill you. Like when we use our energy, like, yes, it can deplete us because we're exerting energy, but depending on what we're putting our energy into, that either feeds us energy or it drains us. So for example, like, I'm sure there has been a time where you really didn't want to go to work, but you had to go to work, and it was just a terrible day because you hated it and it was awful and you just felt so drained. I'm sure everyone can relate to that feeling at some point. But then imagine days where maybe you're kind of tired, or maybe you didn't start the day off great, but you decided that you were going to do something that you enjoyed anyways. So you decided to spend, 3 hours making a craft. And yeah, you put 3 hours of energy into that, but it was rewarding to you. It was fulfilling. And at the end of it, you actually had more energy than you did before you started. So it really depends on what it is that you're putting your energy into that will also help determine how drained or burned out you get. I think there's definitely something from the past that needs reviewing here with the Six of Cups and the Three of Swords. Some kind of pain from the past, a situation, words being said, something being said to you, or something happening that has really caused you to use humor as a defense mechanism, as a way to, you know, cover up the pain, as a way to cope. And while it can be helpful sometimes to, you know, lighten the energy or lighten your mood through humor, as we see in the shadow attributes, it says denial of your emotional truth. So I think sometimes you use humor as a way to kind of brush things off rather than actually dealing with it. And in that way, it keeps you tied to that same thing that you're really wanting to break free from. And what I forgot to mention is that this Fool card here, it makes me think of the Fool in Tarot, and that's all about freedom and liberation. The Fool carries no baggage with him. It's this very lighthearted, carefree energy, and I feel like that's what you try to emulate, but you don't necessarily feel that way. Because deep down there are some things that need addressing, that need releasing, and that you need to forgive yourself for in order to truly experience that sense of freedom and liberation that you're seeking. There's certain seeds that you've planted that need your attention and they need your nurturing with this Ace of Pentacles here. And it's not that, so whatever this is about, whatever goal this is about, if it's like a career thing or whatever, it's not that this idea or this goal isn't fruitful, because maybe you've had this idea for a long time and you've like tried to make effort towards it, but nothing has really come of it. It's not that there's anything wrong with the idea. It's the fact that there's something within that needs to be sorted out first so that you actually believe that the seed will grow. Because the seed knows how to grow. But if we don't believe that it can actually work, then we're not going to take all the necessary actions that we know we can take in order to help the seed grow. So for example, like let's say you want to, let's say you want to be a soccer player. And this is like a dream that you've had. If you don't actually believe that you could make it as a soccer player, you're probably not going to spend a lot of time training. You're probably not going to spend a lot of time, keeping your nutrition on track. Maybe you won't spend as much time networking or going to competitions or finding ways to put yourself out there. If you don't believe it'll happen, you're not going to show up for tryouts for different teams or things like that. You see what I'm saying? It's our belief system that can really hold us back and prevent us from moving forward towards the things that we do want. So there's some kind of belief here that stems back from childhood, or at least a very long time ago, that has made you feel really conflicted about moving forward on either your needs or your desires. Okay, I want to see if there's anything else that comes through. So I'm going to shuffle this deck a couple more times. Spirit, is there anything else? Is there any other practical advice or practical steps? We have the King of Pentacles. Okay. We have the King of Pentacles, we have the Seven of Pentacles, and we also have the Sun. And yeah, okay. That ties into something else that was popping up in my mind. Okay. On the back of the deck, we have the Moon. Interesting, the Sun and the Moon. What I was going to say is that inner child healing will be very important. I know we were talking about that before, but especially with the Sun card coming out, it's really reiterating that. And I also keep getting like the archetype of the father coming through, so that could be relevant for some of you. But what I was hearing with the King of Pentacles was keep your eye on the prize. Okay, we can see that there's two pentacles here. He's holding one, but he's really, really focused and paying attention to this one here. Keep your eyes on the prize. This is also taking me back to what I was saying before, where it's like, I feel like you have your own needs and desires, but it's like someone or something or a group is making you feel like you need to be focusing on something else instead. And the message here is to keep your eyes on the prize. Stay focused on what it is that you want, on your goals and your desires. And to really be patient with yourself, especially if you're used to this, this kind of cycle of exerting a really great amount of energy and then needing a lot of time to recuperate. There's this message of tempering that out by trying to pace yourself and to look at it more as like a marathon than a sprint. It's really going to require you to be patient and to, on some days you'll need to kind of pump the brakes a little bit, and on some days you'll need to hit the gas a little bit more. But I see that there's a lot, you have so much energy. So much energy, because I feel like you do have this very intimate connection with Source, but I feel that at the moment you're a little bit detached from it. And I think other people can see how much energy you have and how much light you have, and I think that maybe sometimes they take advantage of that, which is why they you know, kind of pull on you to take care of their needs or take care of their problems. And there's definitely this message of setting boundaries with this and for using your energy for yourself first and foremost. To nurture your own creative needs, to nurture your own emotions and your own emotional being, so that you're in a space where you can give it all, whether it's to yourself or to someone else. And like I was saying, how there's this energy of temperance coming through, of balancing things out, and we do have the sun and the moon here. Exactly, it's about balancing out your feminine and your masculine energy. Some days you'll need to rest and recuperate. Some days you'll need to play and have fun and get re-inspired. Some days you're going to need to take action and be productive in the sense of putting in physical, tangible work into your goal. And so there's this message of being patient with yourself and not beating yourself up because you need a rest day, or not beating yourself up because you haven't been working hard enough. Even play and rest is productive, and play and rest contribute to the end goal. So don't be so hard on yourself about that, is something else that I'm getting here. The Seven of Pentacles, it's also about consistency and dedication too. It's like showing up to do the work every day, even if you don't really feel like it, but making the effort to try anyways, even if it's only for 5 minutes. Even if all you can manage is just jotting an idea down on a piece of paper, or doing something small. The Seven of Pentacles is the energy of not giving up, even when things don't seem to be growing, even when things don't seem to be working. It's the energy of not giving up and just focusing on being consistent and showing up and doing what you can to contribute to whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Okay, I want to take a look at some self-care advice for you. So we have drink tea. We have sex. And we have make a meal. Yeah, to me, these are all very, I'm getting like strong feminine energy coming through, of really nurturing and taking care of yourself, fueling yourself and feeding yourself, not just with actual food that is good for you, but we consume many things besides food. We also consume media and music and shows and ideas based on the people that we hang around, or the entertainment that we watch, or the books that we read. So it's about making conscious decisions as to how you are feeding yourself and what you're feeding yourself with. beyond just the food that you're eating. I also think there's a lot of creativity that wants to be nurtured within you. There's something that wants to be created. There's something that wants to be birthed. And I also feel like you would benefit from having more pleasure and more fun in your life, especially with the Sun card and the energy of the Fool. Like, I feel like this group, there is such a lighthearted energy within you. I feel like you guys are really fun and playful. You could have strong Leo placements, but you don't have to. But there's this very like young, jovial energy that I feel like has kind of gotten buried under some heavier stuff, and that's okay. It happens to all of us, but allow yourself to have fun. You don't need to be so serious all the time. There's this, allow yourself to play and have fun. Again, it's about finding balance, so we don't only want to stay in that phase, but we need to allow ourselves to play and have fun sometimes. So at least every week, or at least, whatever is reasonable for you, even if it's finding one thing every day that you can do that brings you pleasure, that makes you feel really good, do that. Maybe it's a face mask, maybe that's going for a walk, maybe that's sitting down to have a tea or a coffee, but to be really mindful while you're drinking it. Bring more pleasure and fun into your life as well. And that also ties in with all of the inner child healing that we were talking about before. So inner child healing doesn't only happen by, going within and confronting these parts of ourselves and working through those tougher emotions and releasing them. But healing can also happen by having fun and by playing as well. The same way that resting can be very healing, and literally just like sleeping more can be healing. I do feel that with this group, playing and fun and connecting with your inner child is going to be really, really healing and really helpful for you in achieving whatever goal that you have your mind set on. So pile number 3, this is everything that I'm seeing. I really do hope that this helped you in some way. Let me know down in the comments what you thought and how this resonated. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!